I do a lot of business with high schools and community colleges all over the United States. And one of the things that these organizations are worried about is people looking and doing things on the internet that they shouldn't be doing. So to help protect themselves, we have this special device called a proxy server. A proxy server, well, it could be a lot of things, but it's often some kind of box. We've got a picture, here we go. There's an example of a proxy server. And these boxes sit between, here's my network and here's the big internet. We plug these boxes in such a way that they filter out all the traffic. Now, proxy servers do a great job and they're extremely popular all over the world. But if you're going to be in a network with a proxy server, you're going to have to make special settings. Proxy servers work with applications. So every application that you have that gets on the internet has to be configured for a proxy server. Now, on the A+, I'm pretty sure what they're going to be talking about is the most important one, is web browsers. So what I want to do in this episode is show you how to configure your web browser for a proxy server. So you'll see what I've got here is Windows 8.1, and in this particular case, I'm using the Chrome web browser just because, well, I like Chrome and I want to show you something kind of cool. Now, if you watch my Internet Options video, I tell you that the Internet Options Control Panel applet is just for Internet Explorer. And that's almost completely true with one exception, and that's proxy servers. So let me show you something kind of cool here. So I'm going to click on my settings here in Chrome. And what I'm going to do, these are all my settings. And we get down to the bottom here, I'm going to show advanced settings. And what I want to show you is something that's kind of cool. Network. So what I want to do is I want to change my proxy settings. Remember, with a proxy server, each individual application you use has to be configured to use that proxy server. So I'm going to click on Change Proxy Settings, and look what popped up. That's right, this is your Internet Options Control Panel applet. So the one place where Internet Options is still pretty much used by everybody is for setting up these proxy servers. Now, your network administrator is going to have to give you these settings for you to punch in. So let me just show you what we need to do. Now you'll notice it goes straight to connections and then it goes to LAN settings because that is where we set up our proxy server. Let's go ahead and click on LAN settings. And what we're going to do is say use a proxy server for your LAN. Now here's where you need to have an address from your network administrator. So I'm going to make one up. If you don't type this in, proxy servers are designed to stop any outgoing web requests unless they come through them. So this is a very powerful tool, and if you don't set this up, people are not going to be able to get on the internet through their web browsers. So you type in the address that you're given, and then you also type in the port number that your network administrator told you. It's often still port 80 for HTTP, but you can have some other settings in here, and that's where this advanced button comes into play. So what we can do is we can set this up for HTTP, we can set this up for HTTPS, that's what secure means, and if you're using this web browser for FTP, you can set that up as well. You'll notice it says use the same proxy server for all protocols. If you had some really crazy setup where you had multiple proxy servers, I have not seen that in a long time, you could actually set that up. You can also do things like this. Do not use proxy server for addresses beginning with. So what I could do is something like this. And what I'm telling the system is any of my local IP addresses, don't bother the proxy server with that. Just go to that system directly. So if I had an internal website, for example, I'd do that to get around the problem. Proxy servers are incredibly powerful tools, but they can also be a sign of problems. One of the issues that comes up is if you're ever on a web browser and you're going to weird places that you didn't mean to go, one of the places you check is right here. There is malware out there that can embed proxy server settings into your system, and going into your Internet Options and checking that is very, very important. So if you're not using a proxy server, you should know that ahead of time. Equally, if you are using a proxy server, you should have some comfort with those particular settings. Now, if you really want to get into configuring proxy servers, well, we're not going to cover that in this course. You're going to have to check out my Network Plus course to get deep and dirty into the world of setting up proxy servers. Now, that's what the A+ is going to cover, but I'm going to make at least a quick mention of something else. There's another whole class of proxy servers. There are proxy servers that you can use that you use not as boxes, but they're usually services that allow you to get to stuff that shows that it hides where you're from, in essence. That is a whole other class of options, not on the A+, but be aware they're out there.